know the happenings in the maritime sector.
Hello and welcome to the Media News and Voice of the People TV. I am Fina Okechukwu. The headlines. FG witnesses to testify behind screen in charges. Court denies application to recover forfeited 753 duplexes. Court strikes out $1 billion seat against Buhari Emefiele. Arrest Aisha Achimogo at Abuja. FIRS directs bank to close unauthorized tax collection accounts. FG to begin payment of 5 months' wage arrears. In business, Nigeria is a non-oil export hit. Pleaded with Justice Omotosho that the identities of the witnesses needed to be protected for security reasons. He informed the court that the charges against Kanu borders on terrorism, hence the need to protect the witnesses. The senior lawyer requested that the name of the witnesses be shielded from the public for the general reasons. Good to know lawyer for future the country's capital and contained 753 duplexes. Although the estate was initially linked to a company that later denied ownership, Emefiele, through his lawyer A.M. Kotoye, filed a motion as an interested party in the suit. The former CBN governor sought an extension of time to apply to set aside the interim and final for future orders made by the court in December 2024. Emefiele contended that the entire forfeiture process was conducted without his knowledge and alleged that the EFCC published the interim forfeiture notice in an obscure section of a newspaper, making it difficult for him to respond timely. However, in his ruling, Jude Onwebuzie, the presiding judge rejected Emefiele's claim that the publication was obscure, noting that a half-page notice in a national newspaper was sufficient and could not reasonably be described as hidden. Still, the matter, the High Court in Abuja has struck out a naira suit that was instituted by Muhammad Buhari, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria's CBN, Godwin Emefiele, over the Naira redesign policy they introduced in 2023. A legal practitioner, Uthman Tochukwu, had approached the court, alleging that the policy inflicted series of hardships on him. He alleged that his fundamental rights to freedom of movement and dignity of his person were violently breached by the policy. The plaintiff specifically told the court that within the period the policy was introduced by the former President Buhari-led administration, his movement was curtailed while his money in two commercial banks could not be accessed. However, at the resumed proceeding in the matter, Justice Inyang Eko's suit for want of diligent prosecution. The court held that it was convinced that the nation and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) have arrested a renowned business voluntarily into the country from London was arrested around 5 a.m. today. Meanwhile, her lawyer had reportedly told the Federal High Court in an investigation into an alleged case of criminal conspiracy and money laundering. Recall that Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court. The court also directed that she and a fraudulent investment. Cooperate with investigators. The suspect, who arrived at the headquarters of the EFCC, was accompanied by his team of lawyers, relations, and friends. The commission had previously declared Sheyi Oloyede, Emmanuel Uko, Adefora Oluwa, Governor Bobelo has suspended the executive seminary over a lot was made available to newsmen in Benin outcome of the investigation. In another development, the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, has ordered all Nigerian banks to immediately identify and close any tax and levy collection accounts not authorized under the agency's tax pro mark system. This directed to newsmen by her special advisor on media, Dare Adekonbi, forms part of ongoing reforms by the agency to enhance transparency. Must now be processed exclusively through the Tax Pro Max platform. The digital solution introduced automate tax administration processes in Nigeria. Standing 5 months, 35,000 naira wage award arrears to workers immediately after the April 2025 salaries, with monthly installments continuing until the arrears are cleared. Bawa Mokwa, who the Director of Press and Public Relations at the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, made this known in a statement. Mokwa explained that while the federal government had earlier disbursed 5 months' worth of the wage award in installments, an additional 5 months remained unpaid. He noted that the outstanding arrears would now be settled in equal monthly installments of 35,000 naira. It's time for the analysis segment on the Media News and Voice of the People television. And with us in the studio today to help make sense or to help analyze the news bulletin is Barrister Darlington Agumo, who is a political analyst. Good afternoon, Barrister Darlington.
Good afternoon, Fina, and how are you?
I'm good. Good to have you join today's Media News.
My pleasure.
All right. Let's start off with this new directive where we are getting information that the federal government, have plans already put in place to commence the payment of the wage award. Recall that they were able to pay 5 months before now, and they have 5 months remaining to be paid. Now, from what we got today, according to what Marco said, he said that this particular money will be paid on installment policy, and it will be spread. Another report that come up to tell Nigerians that we're having, or that some persons were being paid more. Recall what happened after the December payment. the federal government told Nigerians that there was a glitch and some persons were being paid more. And the people that were being paid more were asked to return the money or their salaries were withheld. Help us work around this particular policy of installment payment of wage award arrears.
Be attack and criticism. Have you noticed that whenever Tinubu into embarrassing criticism, he will look for something to cool the mind of workers and Nigerians? That is not how to go about this thing. Are you telling me that as at the time they started paying this money, Nigeria does not have money to finish the payment as at that time? You know, when we of it, when you feel like you tokens, you know, for hungry people, quiet. When they finish that one, they wait for another round of palliative. This is palliative. You can see. So what is the meaning of all this one that you are dropping in piecemeal? In piecemeal. So workers should not clap for you, Abi. Please let them talk of another thing. This I am not. Okay, the people you are giving 35,000, how many of them are million people? Out of the 200 million people, how many people got your 35,000? The rest of us, we are not part of Nigeria. We don't deserve 35,000. You can see. Now,
but Barrister, if you ask the question of what happened to the rest of Nigerians, if the civil servants who were being promised this wage, well, recall that this was given to them for them to help, for it to help to cushion the effect of the government being able to pay off the money up until today. Get into 2 years, you know, and yet we're yet to. But now, Barrister, if we have to come up to, you know, I'm not trying to play the devil's advocate here on the table, but you also recall that we have a certain 75,000 naira that was a mark for over 75 million Nigerians who are in abject poverty. We've also seen other schemes, palliative to be shared, who have rice and all that, to be handed down to Nigeria who are able to fend for themselves also. That's one of the policies of this government. That's more like a way of striking a balance whereby the civil servants are getting 35,000 and particular phase are also receiving some handouts.
If these things were working, my dear, you will not get this embarrassing report by World Bank about poverty level in Nigeria. You won't get it. Are we supposed to look at what the international organization, especially IMF award? Barrister Darlington. Hold on.
The same IMF told Nigerians that it's going to yield wonderful fruits, but we just have to give it 15 years. Is it that they were not sure of that projection when they were giving Nigerians that hope at this point in time?
Is implementation right? The answer is no. The answer is capital no. Like this removal of NEPA tariff and all that. If you are giving everybody prepaid meter before you now talk about the answer is no. That is working before you remove fuel subsidy. Complain.
But Barrister,
so if you are not ready to implement a policy where it will benefit everybody, then why did you implement it in the first place? Why? All this staggered approach to policy decisions is very wrong, very, very wrong. It can never work. It has never worked anywhere. So giving a few people some tokens and palliative, does this solve the problem of over 200 million people? It can never work.
Okay, now Barrister, when you fault the reports, you know, or when you talk about what the projection of the World Bank and IMF also turn out to be, remember also that the World Bank come up to also apologize to Nigerians after that, making that particular report. And after the apology, there was a new projection that Nigeria's GDP is growing, that Nigeria's economy is growing, especially in this 2025 too. also in our GDP. So are we supposed to believe the report from the IMF and World Bank at this point in time?
You don't need to be told. When they start speaking from...
But we're declining in Nigerian economy.
You see the development of Nigeria.
We could recall that a particular man was vocal about the northern economy instead of a way or move against the northern part of this country. What do you have to say about that?
Look, whatever anybody says, the purpose of government is to do things that will benefit majority of the people. That is what governance is all about. That one or two persons was making noise here and there. Will it stop your policy from reaching the people it's supposed to reach? If they now say that because one man is talking from the north, therefore they won't open the border to bring food, then what are you talking about?
You're talking about us seeing the effect of this in the market. You and I can also testify that when you get to the market, I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not trying to, hold way for anyone, but I'm just bringing out what is also in the market out here on the table. Okay. So are we not going to say that, works are not being done or put in place? By
nothing is working. It is not working. Fina, you and I bought a bag of rice in this country for 8,000 naira under PDP. If APC took us back to that place now, what is wrong?
Barrister, nothing is working. Interestingly, nothing is working like you rightly said or like you pointed out. But it's also interesting to note that the World Bank and the IMF that are telling Nigerians or bringing out, reeling out data to the world, are still willing to give loan to Nigeria. If, for example, Nigerians, as a case may be, the second quarter of 2024, report there pointed out that we're owing the World Bank approximately 63 trillion naira. And yet, they're still willing to, give us loan. What do you have to say about that?
Because they have seen that you have a government that don't have direction.
Even when we're moving into loan default?
Yes, we're a government that doesn't have focus. They want you to become, what do I call it now, a basket case. When a country has become insolvent, yes, they want us to go into insolvent, like a Greece. Remember when Greece, the whole Europe had to contribute money to save Greece. They want us to get to that point. So they know that you don't have a government. That's why they can tell you that. A government with all the resources. Look, each time I think of this, in fact, my mind used to, I don't know, seriously. You have seen how other countries made this a flamboyant life, thinking that you have money. You order for this one. Indian official is riding any car other than ambassador. And that ambassador is created, is designed, is built by Indian engineers. No input from any country in the world, no input. It's their own make. Look at the amount of money that India have saved from that.
Now, it's interesting, Barrister Darling.
But we have car makers in Nigeria who can give you even world-class vehicles that you want. They will not patronize them.
Something happened at Johns Hopkins University. And, he made mention of what happened in 1990. How poor Nigeria, China, Vietnam were and all that. Even we know was part of the third world country. And, he asked a question, why is it or how is it that the likes of China and Vietnam were able to get it better? And Nigeria, it's more like we're still backsliding or taking a backward step, to our economic growth and elimination of poverty in Nigeria. Now, he received back in a nation as big as Nigeria.
Living behind
poverty level increased or were high when Peter Obi was the governor of the Anambra State in 2007. He also made mention of the projection. And he also said that Peter Obi did not build any school. People were in the state were suffering and all that, But what do you have to say about this?
Oh my God. You see, the report of 54%. When Peter Obi was Anambra's #1, you see all his achievements in Anambra, it or contradict it. All the any governor in Africa, not Nigeria, in Africa, that have gotten such an award for performance in office. So, are you going to continue to talk about what Fonsowolu said? He can't compare himself with Peter Obi now. Is he building school or equipping the ones there? Let us agree he did not build school. So if he did not build school, how did his schools move from number 28 to number 1? You can see. I'm talking of Anambra State with their minimum IGR. And you that is collecting how much? Over 70 billion per month in IGR. Look at where you are. So please, before he can even talk of P2B, let him check himself.
No, but
I don't like this idea of anybody who want to.
Toga said that Nigeria is very rich. That Nigeria is not a poor country. Many persons come up to fault that, saying that is a lie, that Nigeria is poor. But there was a report out there that also pointed out that governors are beginning to get more FAC allocation. And we are yet to ask them what they are doing with that humongous amount of money that is being allocated to them every month. For example, in Kogi State, we learned that 172 million naira was what the now governor of the state, I'm talking about this man Ododo, spent just in the first quarter of 2025 on celebration. But there was no amount of money at all that he would spend, or we've not had anything that's been spent on flood control, despite the risks that Nnamdi told Nigeria that we're going to experience during this rainy season.
Don't blame the governors. Blame the man at the head of affairs in Nigeria. They are copying from him. With all the money available to Tinubu, what is he doing? Please, people should stop blaming the governor. They are copying from their oga in Abuja. Why do you think all of them are running to him now and he's calling it a tsunami, Abi, a political tsunami? He's celebrating failed governors. You can imagine. And you are telling me that he's not happy with what they are doing. Has he reprimanded or asked any of them, come, this money, what have you done and what have you not done? Brother, he like it. The more corrupt they are, the better for them. Why is he talking about that? Why is he not, at least do your own. Let them copy from you now.
What will now be the fate of the generation yet to be born?
Because
you know that this present administration we're doing now, we might not be there to reap the fruit, but the generation next to come will enjoy the dividends of all that he's put in place now.
Did you even plant anything for the next generation? All this talk are cheap talk. Every time you are talking, the next generation, have you not even destroyed their future? No, have you not? These are the higher hand you are misdirecting. You have hired to do your social media, dirty job. All these people that are talking about him on social media, is it not youth who should be gainfully employed somewhere? So when you have destroyed, which other youth are you talking? Which other generation are you talking about? Let us start from now. Let us start from now. Where is the foundation you are laying for tomorrow? Nothing, except to make sure that everybody come under your food. Nigeria. We're only talking of politics now. So is that how you are thinking of the next generation? Please. Go working. You don't need to talk. The result of your hard work will show. People will see it. That you are working. Corruption, you are not fighting. Insecurity, you are not fighting. You are not physical improvement, you are not.
He has been credited to be a master strategist. Some persons also see wonderful knowledge when it gets to politics and navigating things around.
And so, who that one help? In the first place, is there any?
Have we not seen that being played out now in Nigeria?
Really? So that you are using, you are bullying people to come to you. Is that a master strategy? You are using money to compromise the institution. Is that master strategy? Are you serious? No, tell me what he has done on his own without using people. Strategy. Where Enso Luomo and his group, who paid them to do what they are doing? You mean they just woke up to do what they are doing?
But Barrister, if you think that that's not working or yielding any fruit, why of political elites who would have known better into a particular political party in Nigeria?
My dear.
In Delta State it happened, And, some persons are also, there's this permutation that it might happen in other states in Nigeria.
My dear, all of them, do they have baggages? Corrupt. One among them that doesn't have any case on his head. Mention. You can see. So these are the people running to APC, Abi, and that's what you're celebrating. Have you considered the after effects on this democracy? Have you considered it? This don't have to be politically correct.
Okay, let's move away from political statements and a whole lot and move over to legal matters. Today we learned that Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja granted permission to the federal government, for its witnesses. Remember that today, Nnamdi Kanu's case again, the trial began today again in Abuja. Now, we have a report that witnesses that will be testifying against Nnamdi Kanu have been granted permission to testify behind cameras. They are not going to be there. We aren't going to see them. We won't even know their names. And the reason for this about this, given the fact that the senior advocate who is representing Nnamdi Kanu also accepted, to that particular move by the federal government.
There's no problem. There's no problem, because if we now say, they say, you don't want the case to go on, there's no problem. Let them do whatever they do.
How possible will it be that people are testifying against, someone
camera,
and they're doing the testimony or giving the testimony behind cameras? And how are we not going to know the authenticity of their testimonies or their testimonies?
Defender will equally be there. It's not only going to be only the legal counsel of the government. They too will allow to ask questions, Abi. So don't worry yourself. That should not bother you.
Okay, but there's another clause to that also that it's not really. I'm not bothered about it, but it's more like, let me just ask you the question. Now, there's no objection from Kanu's lawyer, Kanu Agabe, who is a senior advocate of Nigeria, and we also know what his portfolio holds. There was a request that he made for to happen from the for Kanu would be argued on. Do you think that this is more like a wonderful bet, being played at this point in time?
Of course.
Do you see the federal government council cooperating with this particular request from Nnamdi Kanu's counsel for his own bail? Remember, recall the other time they called discharged him, and then the federal government also flouted that particular order and kept him behind bars and all that. So are you seeing any part or any movement or shift of the federal government in this case?
Of course. Because the matter, since this case started, this is the first time it's going into trial. It is now that the matter is going into trial. So the situation have changed. And I expect that reason will prevail here. Are you getting what I'm saying? So I don't see why anybody should now throw in any obstacle on the way.
When you make mention of the case being this is the first time it's been trial, are we putting, or are we actually alluding this to the fact that we have 4 new senior advocates join the council of Nnamdi Kanu, or what really happened? What are we going to attach this particular one to this time around?
I think many lawyers, legal minds have come to realize that this is no longer prosecution but persecution, and that is why they volunteered to come into the matter, because the law is being taught upside down here, and if you're a legal man, you will not allow that to happen. They are there to tell the federal government the truth about this matter, because they refuse to listen to wise counsel. When they called to say this man should go, and they refuse. So this time around, I want to see that excuse they will give. These terrorism charges they brought against Nnamdi Kanu, I want to see how it will stand. Because it is only Buhari that sees Nnamdi Kanu as an IPOB as a terrorist group. But Fulani herdsmen and all the other groups that are killing Nigerians all over the place, they are not. They should tell us when Nnamdi Kanu killed one particular Nigerian, or when IPOB went to ransack an entire village, kill everybody there. You do know what terrorism, terror. That means you are putting fear in people, you are destroying lives and property. And they should come and tell us. So this with arrogance and impunity. Maybe they are saints, while Nnamdi Kanu is declared a devil.
As indigenous people of Biafra, condemning the scheduled court procession and the scheduled court proceedings and all that, saying that if in a court of law in Nigeria, that is more like, will I say, they call it a sham to start with.
It's their persecution because jurisdiction matters. You said Nnamdi Kanu said all sorts of things. He said it in England, in UK.
So you don't think that can actually,
it will not stand.
like a hindrance?
It will never stand. It will not stand. The case is dead on arrival. It will not stand. If you check, I have been saying he wants to go through trial. Yeah. So he's not afraid of going through trial because he has said that he did not do anything wrong.
Nigeria now has been prescribed and been tagged a terrorist group. In Nigeria, the courts made IPOB to be a terrorist organization.
No. You said that determination. Is it in UN Charter? The answer is capital yes. That is why nobody in the whole world. So on what ground are you now going to prosecute and persecute him?
All right, but us to continue with this analysis, but the producer made us understand that we are already pressed for time. Thank you so much. We've been speaking with Barrister Darlington Agumo, VOP TV in-house analyst, and I sincerely appreciate you being part of today's media news.
It's my pleasure.
The Lagos State Police Command has raised a standby intervention squad and introduced by the Commissioner of Police, Oluhondare Jimo, with the endorsement of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is made up of policemen drawn from the police mobile force. Speaking with 35 participants of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 18, National Institute of which is a nexus between the island and mainland of the city-state. The police chief said the crime rate in Lagos had dropped below what was the situation when he resumed 2 months ago, attributing the feat to the synergy that existed among security agencies and the cooperation from the community. Rail transport has been suspended since April 10 due to the disruption caused by multiple technical issues involving a train engine failure. Acting Director General of the Public Relations worked to rectify the issues, enhance operational capacity, and improve service delivery. Still part of the media news, the presidency has claimed that Nigeria's democracy remains strong and vibrant on the President Bola Tinubu from opposition parties to the ruling All Progressives Congress. VOP TV's Matthew Ogunsuade spoke with some Nigerians on the development.
Threat. In a statement signed by the presidential spokesperson, Bayo Ononuga, the government described as false claims that the country is moving towards authoritarian rule. The statement follows a wave of defection from opposition parties to the ruling All Progressives Congress, including key political figures from Delta State, like Governor Sheriff Oborewori and former Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. The presidency said this defection shows the growing strength of democracy and the attractiveness of the APC, while adding that Tinubu and the APC leadership deserve credit for building a party that more Nigerians want to associate with. The government urged citizens to support efforts to protect democracy and ignore those spreading what is called false alarms. Meanwhile, Voice of the People TV is on the street, gathering citizens' reactions to the recent mass defections shaking Nigeria's political scene.
Yes, of course. It's a threat to the democracy and to the Nigeria political party and so on, because a lot of these senators, governors that they are defecting. They are just looking for what they are going to hit. They don't have an ideology about the party they belong to. As there's a little misunderstanding or a little grudges from their party, the next thing is to go to another party where they know that they are going to be getting their feeding. Because I don't see the reason why we are going to be defecting from one political party to another. All you need to do, if you believe in that party you belong to, you need to stay there, build the party together with your other members and other colleagues. So being a governor or being a senator or House of Rep, first from one political party to another, is not too good for the democracy, and is putting us to think much that are we really in democracy? You know, because this recently defection from one political party to another is so somehow. I don't really believe on them, and with the masses that we are outside fighting for them, it's like they are just looking for what they are going to hit. They don't believe in the party they belong to. So that's how I see it.
To me, law that banned them from moving from one party to another party. There's nothing bad in it. But some of them, before they fed from and it's not working. Because of annoyance or because of what on their end, they will move to the another one. What are the aims and objectives for all those parties? This is not the first time they have been doing it for long. And what I even see, all those political parties, they don't have anything reasonable for the masses. They are only fighting for their own belly.
Politicians defecting from their party. I believe so sometimes they defect probably not his interest, but come to one, two, is it a better option for them? Personal reasons. I believe we Nigerians sometimes you need to ask some vital questions. It proves that you don't have integrity to your party. So such a candidate, I believe their party should do away with them. And for the newbies trying to come into the party, I believe they should be stereotyped or they should be interviewed thoroughly. And if possible, they should sign an agreement, probably fixed. I believe that you can just leave your party. It's not nice.
The mass defection or no mass defection, any comment I make now will not make any meaning because the politicians know what they are doing. Okay? They know what they are doing. Everybody is entitled to change from one position to the other. But what's the reason for the change?
Thank you, Matthew Ogunswada, for that wonderful package. That's a reaction of to the effect of mass defection from one party to another. And moving over to the business segment of the media news and Voice of the Vision, Nigeria's non-oil exports rose significantly in the first quarter of 2025, reaching a total value of $1.791 billion. The Director General of the Nigeria Export Promotion Council, Nonye Ayeni, made this known during the presentation of the first quarter progress report on non-oil export performance for 2025 in Abuja. Ayeni stated that the figure represents a 24.75% increase compared to $1.4 billion recorded in the same period of 2024, signaling strong growth momentum in Nigeria's effort to diversify its economy away from oil dependency. Still talking business, the African Export-Import Bank has launched a $3 billion revolving intra-African oil trade financing program. The bank, in a statement on its website, explained that the facility financed the purchase of petroleum products by African and Caribbean oil banks. According to the bank, the program continent's which has been developed with Afrexim Bank's financing. Afrexim Bank emphasized that by deploying innovative trade finance and supply chain solutions, and its strength value chain, build resilience across and in sports. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has congratulated Remo Stars Football Club on their historic victory in the 2024-2025 Nigerian Premier Football League season. The achievement as a proud still on the sports side. Reached an agreement the new head coach of the country men's national team, who was sacked after Brazil's 4-1 defeat by Argentina in Buenos Aires last month. The five-time FIFA World Cup winners are fourth in the South American World Cup qualification standing. In entertainment, renowned actor and comedian Oke Bakassi has been appointed the traditional ruler of the Umuihiocha Autonomous Community in Imo. Upon his coronation, the title next level. He expressed gratitude for the honor bestowed upon him and further identified the responsibility bestowed on him as service to humanity. Still talking entertainment, children of the legendary Juju musician King Sunny Ade are currently at loggerheads over his well-being and whereabouts. A daughter of the singer and guitarist Esther took to social media to accuse her stepbrother Dayo of holding their father and also him for even out on statements. In a series of social media posts, she also called for her brother, who she referred to as his manager, to be appointed from singer. However, in an interview, Dayo said their father was hale and hearty. He maintained that he was not the father's official manager, but was only helping out his father in that regard. That is it on the Midday News. But before we go, a quick look at the headlines. FG witnesses fire against 16 charges against Nnamdi. Billionaire seat against Buhari at Mefili. EFRS Aisha Achimogu at Abuja Airport. FIRS directs banks to close unauthorized tax collection accounts. FG to begin payment of 5 months' wage arrears. In business, we told you that Nigeria's non-oil export hit $1.79 billion. In sports, President Tinubu hails Remo Stars on NPFL win. And in the world of entertainment, do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube and on all the social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live.
From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
this particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad